Who knew that a row about bullying on Strictly Come Dancing was the very least of the BBC's worries? Now, of course, the Beeb cannot be held responsible for the appalling behaviour of one individual, on this occasion, Huw Edwards. But it's my view that the stars at the BBC have far too elevated a status, given that their wages are paid for by you and me. BBC stars are essentially public servants, but do not behave as such. They rather behave as pampered prima donnas. The Edwards bombshell comes just a week after the official BBC salaries came out, which revealed that Gary Lineker is still raking in a ridiculous £1.3 million a year for reading out football scores. And stars like Zoe Ball, a very nice person, no doubt, is paid just shy of £1 million a year to play records on the radio. All of this funded by hard-up grannies who are threatened with jail if they don't cough up £170. Now a harder task, since this wonderful new government has taken the winter fuel allowance off so many of them. Meanwhile, someone who I hope will be shivering in a jail cell this winter is the vile Huw Edwards, a BBC icon who turned out to be in possession of some of the most horrific material imaginable, involving the worst possible crimes against children as young as 7. But Edwards may have been an accident waiting to happen long before yesterday's guilty plea. It wasn't just the brave and bold Sun newspaper who pursued this story. Myself and the team here at GB News also covered it. I wouldn't let it go or back down. And tonight, in another twist, 2 whistleblowers have come forward to BBC News. One of them has leaked WhatsApp messages and pictures of a hotel room believed to be in Windsor, which they say Huw Edwards sent them in an attempt to convince them to spend the night together. The messages were sent at the time of Prince Philip's funeral, when there were strict COVID rules still in place. It's believed that the hotel suite was paid for with licence fee payers' money. Of course it was. For the last year, Edwards stayed at the BBC on full pay of almost £500,000 of your money and a pay rise of 40 grand. Now, I'm not sure what you do for a living, but I think you'll agree you wouldn't last 5 minutes in a real job at a real company if that's how you behaved. But it seems to be different rules for BBC stars to the rest of us. Tonight, the BBC Director General, Tim Davie, has defended the corporation's handling of the affair.
When someone is arrested, there's no charges. Also, another factor at this point was very significant duty of care considerations. I think it was right for us to say, look, we'll let the police do their business, and then, when charges happen, we will act.
Do me a favour, but GB News can exclusively reveal tonight that Huw Edwards may not be alone. According to our sources at the corporation, complaints from BBC staff have increased year on year. Last year alone, 50 serious cases were formally lodged with bosses, 46 for harassment and bullying, and 4 for sexual harassment. This is an increase of over 30% year on year. Now, we've reached out to the BBC for comment, but are yet to hear back. This raises serious fears that more predators and more bullies are working at our state broadcaster. Once a source of national pride, the BBC is becoming a national embarrassment. It looks like Huw Edwards may not be the only casualty of this scandal.